Hey there, fellow proxies. I hope you guys are all doing well. So, just recently we have received some more information related to the characters coming to Zenless Zone 0 in the upcoming updates to the game. This includes new changes to the kits for both Vivian and Hugo in the recent beta update, as well as the upcoming rerun characters for version 1.7. But before we begin, let me just give you guys the usual disclaimer that everything mentioned in this video is based on early beta information, which can be subject to change at any point in time in the future. With that out of the way, let's begin without wasting any more of your time. Okay, let's first start with the recent kit changes done to both of the 1.7 units. Starting with the changes for Vivian. First are the changes to the multipliers for her base abilities, which have received some small adjustments, but honestly not something worth talking about. Moving on to the actual major changes to her kit, which is her core passive. So now when normal attack Falling Feather hits a target in the ether, electric, fire, or ice anomaly state, the additional attribute anomaly damage dealt has been buffed from 6.92% to 7% for ether, 0.62% to 0.95% for fire, and 0.9% to 1.35% for electric for every 10 points of anomaly proficiency. Then there is the change to her additional ability, where the corrosion or poison damage dealt to enemies under Vivian's corrosion state has been slightly nerfed from 15% to now 12%. And lastly, there are the changes to Vivian's first two mindscapes. First is her M1, where the increased damage dealt to targets under Vivian's prophecy has now been nerfed from 20% to now 16%. And M2, where the anomaly attribute calculated by Vivian's core passive has been nerfed to now only ignore 20% of the target's resistance instead of 25%. Overall, Vivian's core passive got a pretty significant buff, while her additional ability, mindscapes, and base kit multipliers have only received slight changes. Next up, let's now move on to the changes for Hugo's kit. Starting with his kit multipliers. All of his normal attacks have received some pretty significant buffs, while his support abilities have received some adjustments, with damage nerfs to his quick support ability and buffs to the assault follow-up attack. His special skills have also all have been buffed across the board, with his enhanced special skill also now only requiring 40 energy instead of 60 to cast. And lastly, both his chain attack and ultimate have also had all of their multipliers buffed as well. Next up are the mechanical changes to his kit. First, his off-field additional attack has now been completely removed from his kit. And secondly, there has also been major changes to his core passive. As now when you launch a chain attack with Hugo, his attack is increased by 25% instead of 40% for 6 seconds. And additionally, his move attack multiplier has been buffed from 130% to now 340%. And finally, the last change is to Hugo's signature W engine, which previously provided a 25% crit damage buff when dealing ice damage with either a chain attack and ultimate. This has been replaced with a new passive, which states when either a special skill, chain attack, or ultimate deals ice damage, the character gains the armor break effect, while under this effect, the character will ignore 30% of the enemy's defense when landing a hit. This is a pretty significant buff to the W engine, as 30% defense ignore is a much stronger damage increase than the measly 25% crit damage buff we had previously. Overall, Hugo's changes are pretty solid, with overall buffs to most of his attacks and signature W engine, and only slight nerfs to some of his abilities and also the removal of the additional attack from his kit. So that's pretty much all of the changes done to the kits for both Vivian and Hugo. Lastly, I want to very briefly go over the rumored rerun banners for the version 1.7 update. So according to some information from a recent source, in version 1.7 we'll get the reruns for 2 older limited characters, starting with Phase 1. Which is expected to feature the first rerun for Jane Doe alongside Vivian's banner. While in Phase 2 we'll be getting a rerun banner for the character Lighter alongside Hugo's banner. The Phase 2 lineup is actually pretty great, as both Hugo and Lighter have amazing synergy with each other. As Lighter has the unique ability to increase the enemy's stun duration, which Hugo needs to fully utilize his core passive ability. As for the Phase 1 lineup, While both Vivian and Jane don't particularly have all that great of a synergy with each other, Jane Doe is still a pretty valuable unit to pull for if you're planning on building anomaly-based teams. So that's pretty much all of the information that I have for this video. If you found the info in this video helpful, feel free to give it a like. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all the latest Zenless Zone Zero news and information. That's it for now, so I'll see you in the next video.